What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com and welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, let's get to it. Let's do the Kentucky Oaks on Friday, May 2nd. I'll put it up on the screen for you now. It will be the Kentucky Oaks, like I said. Grade 1 event, going a mile and an eighth, field of 14, like usual. Let's go through them one by one. The number one is early on. It has a couple of second-place finishes. 2 races back to Fondley in the Virginia Oaks, and then last time out in the Gazelle at Aqueduct, finished second behind Ballerina d'Oro. So, 2 pretty good races there. Broke the maiden 3 races back. It took 4 races to get it broke, but when stretching out to 2 turns, she was able to do it. Not the worst 30-1 shot you'll see, to be quite honest. But at the end of the day, if you can't win a race like the Virginia Oaks and you can't win a race like the Gazelle, I'm just not sure the Kentucky Oaks is going to be where you're going to do it, especially drawing this inside post. I do think is a possibility for a little bit of a speed play. If she gets out of the gate, well, I think you just kind of got to go with her. So we'll see if she can do that. But overall, nothing for me to want to play the one. The number 2 is Simply Joking. And look, I think this is a horse that has been very good in all 3 of her starts. Broke the maiden going 6 furlongs at Fairgrounds, stretched out to a mile and 70 yards in an ungraded stakes race and won again, and then was in the fantasy going a mile and 16th and ran second, beating 3/4 of a length. The horse is by Practical Joke. I don't know. We'll see. A mile and an eighth doesn't really sound to me like the horse is going to love it, but, ran okay at a mile and a 16th. So could be one that's going to turn for home and, with the lead, and they're going to have to come get this horse. So I do think this horse has nice early speed drawn to the inside. I think there's a couple of horses that have nice early speed. I think we're going to have a pretty strong pace up front, which has me a little bit leery of Simply Joking getting a mile and an eighth with pace pressure being faced there. The number 3 is Fondley, a horse that is 2 for 2. The speed figures aren't going to blow you away. She hasn't been overly fast according to the numbers. Maiden special weight win at Tampa and then won the Virginia Oaks at Colonial Downs. So, look, wait and see approach for me. Stepping up in class in a big time way here from Colonial here to Churchill Downs, but earned the spot because of that win. So we'll see what happens. But another one, I'm just going to wait and see. Not quite for me in this spot. And another one that could be a pace presence, has been close to the lead in both starts. Kind of on the metrics seems a little bit too slow to be up in front with Simply Joking and a few others, but still, she's used to being forwardly placed, so we'll see what she does in this spot. The number 4 is Drexel Hill. This horse is coming off of a ungraded stakes win, the Busher Stakes, there at Aqueduct 62 days ago. That was a Kentucky Derby Prep event and hasn't ran since, so that's kind of strange. We haven't seen this horse since. 2 races back was third, beaten by Simply Joking and Bless the Broken. Before that, does have a one other win. It came in a maiden special weight at Woodbine. This one's going to be not for me either. Just hard to see this horse making much of an impact. Same thing with the number 5, Quick Kick. Has had a couple chances. Won at Oaklawn Park in the Honeybee, 5th, beaten 8, and then went to the Fairgrounds Oaks, 4th, beaten 7. Breeders' Cup Juvenile, 3rd, beaten 6. It just seems like when this horse moved up in class a little bit, just wasn't quite good enough. So not for me again. Yeah, repeating here, but the 5, Quick Kick, not one I can support. The number 6 is Ballerina d'Oro, and the number 6 is another one that I'm not overly high on. I will say this: when she turned the corner in the Gazelle at Aqueduct, I thought we were getting ready to see something special. She looked like a really nice horse. She stalled pretty badly down the stretch, though, going a mile and an eighth. Might get better second time out going long. Going a mile and eighth, I should say. Really, it's the 3rd time because she did it as a 2-year-old as well in the Demoiselle, where she got second, beating a length. But great pedigree, Medaglia d'Oro out of a Tappet mare, but I just not sure she's fast enough. I did not love that last race. Did not love how she finished up. So we'll see here on this one. She was 3-5. She won by a nose because she just kind of started to tread water late in that race. So number 7 is Lacara. Here's what I like. So Lacara kind of checks all the boxes for me as by street sense out of a Bernardini mare. This horse won the Ashland last time out, was second in the Devona Dale 2 races back. And then also at Tampa won the Suncoast Stakes 3 races back. So those are 3 races this year. Had a pretty good last year as well. Won the Pocahontas Stakes right here at Churchill Downs. That was her last start here at Churchill before not running well at all at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Look, stretching out there to that mile and a 16th, she looked great, and the Ashland kicked away there. They were kind of closing at her late, so we'll kind of see how we go from there. But Lucara, I think, is one that checks a lot of boxes. But she's going to be in up there that pace with Simply Joking, and with our next horse, the number 8, 5G. This is a horse coming off a gate to wire victory in the Gulfstream Park Oaks, where she won by 2 1/4. I thought that was very impressive that day. And went to the Honeybee and ran second, only beating a link to Quiet Side as well. So nice horse here. Talking about 5G, I think a horse that, again, though, it feels like, boy, a lot of pace from good horses. I think the number 2, Simply Joking, is a good horse. I think Lucara, the 7, is a good horse, and I think 5G is as well. Boy, I don't know. And then you get to the next horse, the number 9, Tenma. Wasn't on the lead last time out, but in some of her races have been on the lead, coming up from the Bob Baffert barn, I should say, out of California. I wouldn't be shocked if this horse is part of the pace as well. Pretty good race, 2 back in the Lost for Jeans, but last time out in San Diego Oaks didn't run very well, in my opinion, and kind of just got tired, it seemed, down the lane. So, but yet again, another horse, the 7, the 8, the 9, and the 2 that are going to go early. It's going to set it up for somebody, and I think there's a couple of horses that could set it up for. We're going to talk about here in just a second. The number 10 is Take Charge, Milady, and this is a horse that will come from out of it, or I shouldn't say way out of it, but should kind of be, in the middle of the pack here. Last time out was second, beating a length and a quarter by Lucara, but was closing nicely. 2 races back, bad trouble in the Honeybee. That's just kind of draw a line through it. But 3 races back, was able to win the Martha Washington at Oaklawn Park in runaway style. Broke the maiden at Oaklawn Park as well. So a couple of nice races there. So listen, I think the pace sets up now. We've kind of heard there's a little minor injury going on or issue going on. She might have to scratch, but I think the pace sets up well for her. I think she's one to look at there at 12-1. The number 11 is the heavy favorite, and it's Good Cheer. 6 races, 6 wins for this horse. Never done anything wrong. It was interesting. I look at time forms, and while she's right there, she doesn't have the highest time form. She's close, just a couple points off. You look at Byers, she is tied for first with Byers. So she doesn't look like a 6-5, according to the speed figures. But when you watch the replays of this horse, she does indeed look like she might be a little bit better than the rest of this group. Her replays look very impressive, just winning, and not only winning, but just blowout fashion. 8 1/4, 17 lengths, 4 3/4, 2.5, 6 1/4, and 3.5. That's her margin of victory for all her races. So it's going to set up really well for her as well. She's a horse that likes to come from out of it. She's not going to come from like 100 lengths behind, but she likes to come from out of it, and it's going to set up well. The pace is going to be good for her. She's going to be awfully tough in here, guys. There's no doubt about it. The number 12 is Anna's Promise, a horse kind of stepped up in class last time out and ran pretty good in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. I don't necessarily think this is a horse that can't have any chance. I think there's worse long shots you can play. Gonna have to step up her game a little bit, but again, I think the biggest factor for this horse is she should play a part in making this pace pretty fast. That's just another speed horse, and I just really think it's going to set up, like I said, for a closer like the number 11 Good Cheer, or like a horse or two we're going to talk about here in just a second. The 13 is Bless the Broken. This is a horse that's coming off of a coming off of a win at Turfway Park last time out over the Synthetic in the Bourbon at Oaks. Now, before that was third, beaten 7 3/4 in the Rachel Alexandra. Also finished second, beaten 2.5 by Simply Joking. The Demoiselle was 7th. So had to get to the Synthetic to get the job done and make the gate. So that's why I don't love her for this race. But, congratulations to her for being here. She earned her way winning that race there, the Bourbon at Turfway, just not for me in this one. And then finally, the number 14 is Quiet Side. This is a horse that loves to stalk the pace, but can also be up towards the front as well. I would imagine breaking from the 14, they try to take her back a little bit and not try to gun her out of there. But if they do, it's just another speed horse. So there's just so much speed signed on. And at the end of the day, I kind of came into this going, I might pick Quiet Side. I might pick 5G. I might pick Lucara. These horses kind of makes sense to me. But it all kind of leads back to the number 11, Good Cheer. When you think of the pace of the race, when you think of how easily she's been able to win some of these races while the other ones have not really been able to do that, I went with number 11, Good Cheer, and I really didn't think I would first 2 or 3 times through handicapping this thing. But you just kind of look at it. If it this race is a lot like the Kentucky Derby, where there's 4, 5, or 6 even horses that you could see on the lead. And anytime there's that many, the odds are it's going to be a pretty hot pace. And if the pace gets hot, I think Good Cheer is going to be awfully tough to hold off. And I know that's kind of like understatement of the decade, right? She's 6-5. I get it. But, I just think it sets up really well. I really would like, if Quiet Side didn't draw the 14, I think I would have picked her. And I still, I am going to end up playing her and stuff. But I just don't know. She draws the 14. And she also has to face that pace pressure from all these other horses. I just don't know that it's going to set up great. And I do think it's going to be number 11, Good Cheer, who's sitting kind of mid-pack, make that first run. And I think eventually she will get there. So I'm going to go number 11, Good Cheer, to win this year's running the Kentucky Oaks. I think it's going to be fun. I'm not going to single this horse. I haven't figured out the whole sequence yet, what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to single her. I'm pretty sure about that. I do think you could get Quiet Side evolved in your multi races, and I think 5G is interesting as well in those multi races because she might just be the speed of the speed and get out there in front. But anyway, end of the day, I am going to go number 11, Good Cheer, to win this year's running of the Kentucky Oaks. All right, that'll do it for our preview of the Kentucky Oaks. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe. You really like it when I get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Churchill Downs on Kentucky Oaks Friday.